Hello everyone, Joseph Dunphy here, and this is your weekly Grass10 grazing management update on the dairy edge. The PastureBase figures for the last 7 days are the average farm cover, 668 kilos of dry matter per hectare. The cover per livestock unit is 196 kilos of dry matter per hectare. Growth is running at 56 kilos of dry matter per hectare for the last 7 days. Demand at 49 kilos of dry matter per hectare. Pre-grazing yield has come up to 1440 kilos of dry matter per hectare. And the diet for the last 7 days is staying steady at 14 kilos of grass, 4 kilos of meal, and a couple of kilos of silage. Dry matter percentages recorded are 16.5% in Athenry, County Galway, 22% in Oak Park, County Carlow, 18% in Moorpark, County Cork, and 23% in Grange, County Meath. Predicted grass growth, rainfall, and soil temperatures for the coming 7 days. Predicted grass growths are expected to be in the low to mid-60s. Soil temperatures are expected to be between 12 and 14 degrees. And predicted rainfall is somewhere in around 15 to 20 millimetres of rain for the vast majority of the country. Your Grass10 tips for the week. So we've seen a slight improvement in grass availability on Irish farms over the past 7 days. However, growth rates are still poor for this time of the year at 56 kilos of dry matter per hectare. 16% of farmers have a cover per livestock unit of less than 150 kilos of dry matter, which is an improvement on last week as this figure was at 26%. Growth rates for the next 7 days are positive, with mid-60s predicted for large parts of the country, so continue to walk your farm and reduce supplement when cover per livestock unit is greater than 200 kilos of dry matter per livestock unit. Once again, the mid-season targets are to have an average farm cover of over 600 kilos of dry matter per hectare and to have a cover per livestock unit of greater than 170 kilos of dry matter per livestock unit. We want somewhere to be in a rotation length now at the minute of between 21 and 25 days and pre-grazing yield greater than 1,200 kilos of dry matter per hectare. Grass quality is still a challenge on a lot of farms with a lot of seed head and stem present in grazing swards. And a lot of people have been noticing covers with the dry and cold weather going to seed head at around 11 to 1,200 kilos of dry matter per hectare. Paddocks will need corrective action this rotation in order to provide quality pasture for the remainder of the grazing season. So if there's no surplus appearing on farm, this may need to be done with a dismower post-grazing or removed as surplus bales if the farm has surplus grass. The first half of 2024 will be remembered for both poor growth rates and also poor grass quality. The PastureBase figures for the first 6 months show Irish farmers are 1.2 tonne of dry matter per hectare behind compared to the 5-year average. So farms measured on PastureBase have grown 5.1 tonne of dry matter per hectare year to date compared to the 5-year average of 6.3 tonnes of dry matter per hectare up to the 1st July. This means that most farmers are back 15 to 20% in terms of growth rates year to date. So it's important to review where your winter feed situation is at by completing a fodder budget now, especially farms that have been feeding silage over the past 3 to 4 weeks. So see the video link in this week's Grass10 newsletter with tips to complete a fodder budget on PastureBase Ireland. Lastly for this week, following on from the success of last week's Sustainable Grassland Farmer of the Year event on Patrick O'Neill's farm in County Longford, this week's featured farmer Michael Carroll will host his farm walk today, Thursday the 4th of July in Brewery, County Limerick, on his dairy farm at 11 a.m. Michael was a nutrient management category joint winner of the 2023 Sustainable Grassland Farmer of the Year competition. Michael has a quick update for us in this week's podcast. His average farm cover, 693 kilos of dry matter per hectare, cover per livestock unit at 252 kilos of dry matter per hectare, and growth rate has bounced back to 75 kilos of dry matter per hectare. Milk yield at the minute is 21 litres at 4.25 fat and 3.69 protein. Michael notes that grass quality and availability has improved on the farm over the last 10 days. He's now in a good position with a cover per livestock unit up to 252 kilos of dry matter per livestock unit, and meal has been reduced back to 2.5 kilos per cow. Fertiliser at the minute, high clover paddocks are getting dairy washings at 2,500 gallons per acre, and grass-only paddocks or low clover paddocks are receiving 18 units per acre of protected urea after grazing. So if you'd like to hear more from the Grass10 team, subscribe to the weekly Grass10 newsletter, which is available on the Grass10 page on the Teagasc public website, and the link to the newsletter is also available in the description of this podcast. This has been your Grass10 update, and I'll talk to you all next week.